So I'm showing you guys a mentorship snippet today. I'm out right now and I'm moving and I don't have Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm teaching my peoples. This is one of the clips for how to structure and properly test your Facebook ads using AI. Artificial intelligence is mostly the key here, does most of the heavy lifting, and it's amazing, bro. Beautiful formula, and you're gonna love the information. So tap in, I'll see you soon.
This is how to test your Facebook ads or your TikTok, but talking Facebook, you can do this with TikTok or Facebook, but Facebook Pro. Lucky, right? So I know this might look complicated, but don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about any of that right now. Zoom in, right? So start here, go slow. We're going to be doing worldwide targeting, and we're excluding Asia, Africa, and India, right? The reason being is because if something's going to be saturated, it's going to be saturated in the US. Okay, most of the dropshippers, they are saturated in the US. If you see someone running up a bunch of numbers, look at their ads. They're most likely targeting US only. If you see any of the YouTube gurus doing the Shopify challenges or anything like that, US only. So how are we going to compete? Well, one, we're going to bring that omni. So we're going to go to every other country that they're not doing, plus the US. And you want to know why? Well, let's say the competition is running up money in the USA, okay? Which means they have dominance, they have momentum. We need to gain momentum, and it's hard to compete with someone who has a bunch of momentum if we are competing in the same exact market as they are, right? So if they are only in the US and their cost per click is 80 cents or $1.20, and they're making sales, let's say they spend 30, 40 bucks to make a sale, we need to be able to spend $25 and make a sale. How do we do that? Well, you lower your KPIs. Your KPI stands for key performance indicators, right? Your key performance indicators are going to be your click-through rate, your cost per 1,000 impressions, your cost per click, your cost per acquisition, like cost per purchase. Those are KPIs. That's what, KPI stands for, all those types of things, right? So we want to bring our KPIs down and bring our sales up so that way we can push them out of the market eventually, right? We'll let our ads circulate outside of the US. We'll make money, and we'll gain so much momentum that as it comes over to the US, they're going to be getting pushed out because we have so much more money to work with. You know what I'm saying? Because they're only targeting US and we're making money from everywhere else. So the structure is really, really simple. We're doing one CBO campaign, one Facebook campaign. And depending on how many ad creatives you have, that's going to determine how many ad sets we have. So if I zoom out, so here's our one campaign, and I'll go into the accounts and I'll make everything and I'll show you how this is all done, right? But for now, we're talking about one CBO campaign with $50 or $100 a day, depending on what your budget is. If you have a high budget and you're very, very confident in the product and the work that you put in on this product, $200 a day, right? But that's depending on your budget. If you have the money to spend $200 a day for 7 days straight or for 14 days straight and you're not worried about it, and that's just like your investment to the business, then perfect, bro. But I would recommend just starting out to learn $50 a day, $100 a day, because $50 gives you enough to play with and to also learn. So you can make sales with $50 a day, but you can also see what that $50 is doing every day, how it's being spent, how it's working for you, and you can optimize and learn before you start spending more and more money. Because if you were spending $100 or $200 a day and you're trying to learn at the same time, you're going to have a really hard time trying to manage that money, right? So one campaign, and let's just say for a product, we have 10 videos or 5 videos and 5 photos, right? And these are all going to be one ad each. One video is one ad, one photo is one ad. So if you have 10 pieces of content that you want to run as ads, what we're going to do, some of these are misspelled, but don't worry about it. These are all ad sets, right? So one campaign, 10 ad sets, but it's not just 10 ad sets. The ad sets depend on the amount of creatives you have. So one video or one photo or one carousel ad per ad set, right? So if you have 10 videos or 10 photos, there's going to be 10 ad sets with one in each of them. And the reason we're doing this is because once we launch all of these, the key with this first launch is not to try and get rich. Obviously, if we start making sales with this first launch, bro, you're in a good spot. Okay, but this is the initial test to see not if the product is working per se, because we already know the product can sell because we validated it. We're testing which one of these 10 videos or photos are actually making the most sales or getting the best KPIs, like the cheapest KPIs, right? Cheapest clicks, cheapest sales, cheapest cost per 1,000 impressions, which stands for CPM. CPM is cost per 1,000 impressions. So if it's a $30 CPM that you have, then it'll cost you $30 to have your ad shown to 1,000 people. That doesn't mean that 1,000 people are going to click on it. It just means that 1,000 people are going to have it in their feed when they're scrolling through Facebook or IG or TikTok, right? And if they stop and scroll, then that's an engaged customer or a potentially engaged shopper. Not a customer, but they're an engaged shopper, right? They're shopping around, they're engaging with your products. So once we launch this initial test, we're going to let them run for about 2 days, maybe 3 days maximum, right? At the end of that third day, we're going to be seeing by that time, some of these videos are going to be getting better clicks, better purchases. Some might be getting add to carts. Some might not be getting add to carts, right? So we're looking at all of those KPIs, all of those key performance indicators. And if any one of these videos are indicating that they're performing really well and the other ones are not performing well, what we do is we don't delete anything. We go back to the beginning. So we create another campaign the same way that we did all of these, except it's only going to have it's only going to have the videos that are performing well for you. So we tested all of these to see which ones are performing well. Once you find 2 out of the 10, for instance, that are performing well, then we make another CBO campaign. And we still have 10 ad sets. But now, inside of those 10 ad sets, you could do 5 if you want to, 5 ad sets. But inside of these ad sets, instead of only having 1 video or 1 photo, we're going to have all of the ads that worked well. So let's say out of these 10 tests that we did, let's say these 3 right here were performing well, these 3. So that means we're going to relaunch the CBO and then with 10 ad sets, and then each ad set is going to have all 3 of these ads in it. So now we have a more optimized ad campaign being run. The first was just seeing which videos are going to work the best and which videos are going to bring me the highest return on investment or the highest return on ad spend. It's called a ROAS, right? So once you figure out those, then we just are only spending money on those. Understood? It's pretty simple. So depending on your product, moving out of the structure, okay, depending on the product is going to determine whether or not you move on from a funnelish advertorial. So are you going to do an advertorial or are you going to do a product page, right? So here's an example of when we would do this, okay? Let's say for an advertorial, you have a product that is connected to real world pain, like someone passing away, family, pets, baby, anything that's painful and you can solve, okay? Because the reason that this is working is because we will be using AI. As you can see here, this is where AI sauce comes into play. We're going to be using AI to create the most insane story that's very believable. It's real and rooted in truth. AI is going to do all the research for us. I have a long list of prompting, which you're going to go into AI, and I'm going to show you in the next video. And that prompt is going to give you a story, which we call an advertorial. And it's going to run the customer through, let's say, as I was telling one of my students the other day, Grandpa could have lived another 10 years, but instead he didn't. And AI is going to write a whole story about how Grandpa should have been taking this supplement. And this supplement could have given Grandpa another 10 years, but he didn't listen to anybody, you know? And now you, as the reader, it's your job. Like, you're almost a bad child or almost a bad granddaughter or grandson if you don't help Grandpa and get Grandpa this supplement and get him into this system. You know, this is what AI is going to do for us. It's going to weave this crazy story together. And when we're running our ads, when we're using an advertorial anyways, all of these ads are going to go not to the product page. They're going to go to this advertorial. Okay. Because these ads are going to look like an article. They're not going to look like an ad. If we're using this advertorial setup, then all of these ads are going to look like an article. You know how you're scrolling through Facebook and it says top 10 greatest hits of all time. And then it's like a little picture and it's like a learn more button and you click it and it's just like a bunch of reading. That is that. Okay. So for that product, this is what we'll be doing. And it'll lead to an article, quote unquote, but really it's an advertorial, which is warming them up on this whole story. And then as they go throughout the story, they're going to be presented with the problem and the solution and how whoever is in the story, whoever's telling the story, because there's going to be a person telling the story, as you'll see. Whoever's telling the story will explain like, yeah, I discovered this brand's blah, blah, blah supplement and it changed everything. And ever since then, we did this, that, and third. And Grandpa's 93 years old now. And I highly recommend that everyone does this because now he can jump and his knees where they used to be bad, you know? So we can have 10 or 15 of these stories if we need to. You know what I mean? So we could even, if you're advanced, very advanced, instead of using one of these, we can have different kinds of ads. So like this one's about Grandpa's knees. This one's about Grandpa's hair. This one's about Grandpa's teeth. And then we'll keep, each one of these will go to a completely different, so like each one of these will go to a completely different funnel, right? So we'll have, if you're super advanced and you want to, and you're scaling to 100 grand a day, 30, 50, 100, a million a day, you're going to have a funnel for every single one of these, right? But you're not worrying about this right now, but I'm just explaining, right? The more advanced you go and the more creative you need to be and the more creative you need, the bigger your business gets. This is what you should be doing. This is the new way. Fuck all the copy and paste, all the Callo data, the run TikTok shop video ads. Fuck all of that, bro. I'm giving you the real sauce right now. Run these tests. If this is, if you're doing the advertorial setup, you run these tests and then you come back and you recreate the campaign with your winning content. And you can also start incorporating new funnels. Okay. So this one funnel is the main one. But what if you had 10 different advertorials with 10 different grandpa stories, or 5 of them are grandpa, 5 of them are grandma, maybe 3 is grandpa, 3 is grandma, 3 is auntie, whatever. And you start seeing which one of these starts bringing the customers to the product page, because obviously they scroll through this. And once they get to the bottom of the advertorial, once they get to the bottom of the story, there's a button. Go get the product, go check the availability, solve your grandpa's pain. So whichever one of these funnels are bringing the most people to the product page, bro, then now you know which funnel is winning and which angles you can keep diving into. Once bro, it's amazing the feedback that you get from running the ads, right? So if these are running well, AI created them. So if this one's well, I'll say, AI, make me 10 more of these. Bro, gone are the days where you need to make 15 video ads and spend 2 weeks doing it and ordering products. Nah, bro, that's the old way. We're using AI, okay? Even for when we're making our photo ads, you can even turn a photo ad that AI generates. Like, you can make a whole video out of AI just by making photos with AI and then using a different AI to add motion to those photos. And then you do that 30 times. Now you have a whole complete AI video. You add a voiceover to it. You can even add another layer of AI. I can't remember what the name of the brand is right now, but I use them all the time. But it's where they do like AI faces. You see them all the time. You see ads being run for them all the time, right? So you can have a fake AI person talking. They can be like a dermatologist talking about this, that, and the third. You have AI voiceover, AI face, AI video, AI photos. You go to the website, AI wrote it. Come on, bro. It never got easier than this. It never got easier than this. Since when did you not have to do anything but tell AI what to do? Bro, it's amazing. So they get through the funnel, right? One ad, they get into the advertorial funnel, okay? Once they get through to the product page, this is just your basic product page setup. This is nothing. This is what you've done a million times, or you've seen people do it 100 million times, right? But I did have notes in here. So as you're going through it, you can refer to this guide and then to the videos as well, and, get whatever information you need, right? So as you're, because the reason I say this, after a day or two, you should be analyzing and you need to optimize it more. The reason I say that is because I recommend not to spend too much time on your product page. Your product page should not take you forever. You shouldn't be taking a week to build your product page, because let's say you find a product, it's winning when you find it, right? It has an opportunity when you find it for you to get in and build momentum with it. But you took a week, you took 2 weeks. And just like how you found that product, someone else found that product too, and they were able to get the store up in a day or two and get ads launched the next day. And you're wondering why, when you launch your ads, why aren't they performing as well as you thought when you did your research? It's because you took too long to get to market. You know what I mean? For me today, I built a store today and the ads and launched everything in 6 hours, which is still kind of long, but I took my time. You know what I mean? I recorded the whole thing. But bro, once you figure out what your formula is, and kind of once you get a store that's making sales, just keep rebuilding that same store with different products. So you don't have to keep thinking about what's going to work. You know what I mean? So the first stores that you build should take the longest. After that, don't spend too much time thinking about it. Just stick to the same formula that worked for you the last time, and spend most of your time on the ad creatives, because the ads are what matters. The ads are what brings you the money. Yes, the website can be optimized later. Make sure it's clean, it's minimal, it has what the customer needs for the most part, and don't have it have a bunch of jumbled up words and like clean and minimal, like Apple, Look at Apple. All right, boys. So we're going to go into the Facebook ad account right now. I'm going to go and show you guys how to launch CBO campaigns and show you how to structure them. Let's do it.